Okay, so we are live. Let me invite Bethany. What?
Oh, you're so cute.
Thank you. Okay. Did you get the invite?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Cool. We're here. Ooh. I love how we're like two completely different colors.
Yes.
How does that happen? Maybe I can fix my light here. Nope, I'm just gonna look yellow or green. You know why? Because my walls are like green. So everything has kind of a yellow hue, and it's really annoying. Like when I edit our videos, I'm like when I edit them, like it makes yours go one way and mine go another because we're like have completely different lightings going on. It's pretty funny.
I am going to switch these headphones just a second because I can mute my computer. Yeah, so for anyone joining us, hello everyone joining us right now. We're kind of doing this so we're doing an Instagram live, but at the same time we are recording on our usual recording app because this is going to be
we have
episode.
So we have like our phones and our like
there we go
computers, so we might be looking in a couple different places, but we are talking to you.
Yeah.
Okay,
so who do we have with us? We got a few people. Okay, so this is currently unnamed, but it is our last Film Friday of 2021.
Yep.
The year that never ended is almost over, finally.
Oh.
But naturally, we decided to talk about the Christmas classic Scrooged with Bill Murray because
you're a Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bitch. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
we both watched it.
Yeah, we both watched it. I haven't seen it as many times as you. I think I watched it like a long time ago, and then I watched it the other night. But it has some people in it. I was like, oh yeah, it's like Vivian from Kimmy Schmidt, and like
yeah.
And I recognize Alfre Woodard. She's like the Bob Cratchit, Grace. Mm-hmm. She's like in a lot of stuff too at that time, and I had to like look, and I was like, she's in How to Make an American Quilt. Have you ever seen that 90s movie?
No.
It's amazing. No. It's such an underrated movie. Has what's her face? Winona Ryder.
Oh, okay. So yeah. I'm sold now.
yeah, you have to. Yeah, there was another friend of mine. She's like going through all of like the Winona Ryder movies, and I'm like, have you seen How to Make an American Quilt? And she's like, no. And I feel like no one's seen it, but I like watched it like as a kid once, and I was like, it's just one of those movies. Anyway, that is stuck with me.
No, you're good. So this is actually my mom's favorite Christmas movie, and that's why I've seen it so many times. Mm-hmm. And it's not I don't know that it was even like my favorite as a kid, but I just remember as I got older enjoying it more and more. But there's what scene is it? I made a note of it. There's one scene, the restaurant scene. So he's supposed to expect his first ghost at like noon, right? Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, also the first ghost has always been my favorite. His whole like the dirty tobacco tea. He hot boxes the taxi, like it's disgusting, and I love it so much. But like as I get older, that restaurant scene is just so much worse to watch. Like the secondhand embarrassment is so cringe. It's very well done. It is very well done because I love the way that the waiter is just like doesn't quite know what to say to him. He's just, I'll just go get another drink for you. My apologies, sir, because he's so used to dealing with like rich assholes that none of them at first really know what he's on about.
Well, explain kind of the scene, like what's going on in the scene.
So he starts to like get paranoid because he's expecting this ghost to show up. Okay. At the same time that they're like essentially telling him that he's getting replaced. Like they haven't quite told him yet, but they're like, this is gonna be your new partner. because
okay, yeah.
we're taking some pressure off you, that Bryce Cummings guy, and he's the worst, like the absolute worst, like a total slime ball.
Yeah.
And they get their drinks, and he thinks he sees an eyeball in his glass of water.
Oh God, that's awful.
Yeah, and it's like a disgusting. He's like, ah! And like just starts screaming, and they're like, sorry, we got you the wrong drink, I guess.
Yeah.
That's strange. And then he just starts thinking that like the waiter across the restaurant is on fire because of the baked Alaska. And so he chucks this like ice container full of water and like ice at the waiter, realizes the man's not on fire, and just kind of runs out of the restaurant. And this like it's so embarrassing to watch. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I love it so much.
Well, my favorite is the Ghost of Christmas Present. The fairy. I fucking love her.
I knew you were gonna like her too.
I loved her the first time I saw it. I was just like, I just love, she's just like, and then she just comes and like kicks him in the balls.
Yes.
And then he continues to be like a royal asshole. He's like, if you slap me one more time, and then she's just like, no, and then it cracks his lip. I just love her so much.
And also like Carol Kane is amazing, absolutely amazing.
Like I love the thought that her as Vivian and Kimmy Schmidt is just, she's still the ghost, like she's still the same person, and it's like the same universe. And now she's just like this older lady living in this like basement apartment in New York.
It would honestly explain
on like controlled rent and like screaming gentrification.
My favorite part is that
waving to people who have joined. Thank you for joining.
My favorite part that she has is when she like sticks her fingers in his ears and starts singing because she doesn't want to ruin his gift, which is great because then he gets the gift and he cries because it's such a special gift, which is really sweet. But then immediately she hits him in the face with a toaster. But he kind of deserved it. He was like a royal asshole to her.
This Milo has his work party after this, and he was like, I wonder if they'll give me a bonus or a towel. Because we were watching it the other night, and how he's just like, towel, give him a towel.
His own brother.
I know.
Oh, okay. So that was something that I kind of wanted to talk about is, okay, so Scrooged is, like, in case the name doesn't give it away, a modern-ish retelling of the Dickens classic. And I love the way that they modernized it, because like in the original, Scrooge is evil because life has been really hard to him.
Yeah.
He's been really like isolated and lonely, kind of, I don't want to say abandoned, but just kind of like pawned off by his dad, by his family. And in this one, it's really like the temptation of greed.
Yeah.
In a much different way, in like a much more 20th century American.
It's almost like a
commercialized way.
Power.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Which I feel like the original Ebenezer, like, he didn't seem to have too much need for power in the way that it like affects lives. Like, he was just kind of like, well, where's the money going? Like, to like those charity people and stuff. He's like, well, why can't they? You know, whatever. And it was just more about like money. Like, if we want to go really into it, Ebenezer Scrooge is an Aquarius. And they tend to be little like sticklers with money if they're like out of balance and stuff. So like,
but also like critical of power.
Yeah. And balances. Yes. Yeah. And so like, I think this was a good retelling because you have like this like CEO of like a very influential like network that is like, and he is just like abusing his power to like everyone around him, not just financially, but just like, even to Grace, just like, he's just kind of a dick.
Yeah, he was a total asshole to Grace. And honestly, the fact that she didn't try to poison any of his drinks or even just like slip laxatives into something is really, really telling of her character.
Yeah.
Okay, so like when we see in like Dickens' original kind of like tellings, when we see Ghost of Christmas Past, you see this kind of like continuous fallout with people almost. Like he gets the short end of the stick more than once. But this one, the moment that Ghost of Christmas Past shows him that something went wrong is just when he chooses it over Grace. Who again, or not Grace. Is it Grace? No. His girlfriend.
Yeah, I forget her name.
Yeah, Karen Allen. That's her real name.
Yeah, I was like, Karen.
Yeah. Also another person I'm a huge fan of, which that is because of this movie, but more so because of Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay.
She is the only one of Indiana Jones's girlfriends who could like hold her own against all of the shit.
Right.
And then also wasn't a Nazi.
Yeah.
Which is a big selling point.
Yeah. Always.
But she gives him so many passes. So many passes. Even like it's been 15 years. He calls, sounds like he's on something, and she just comes the very next day. And then he's a dick to everyone that he interacts with in front of her, and she still is like looking at him longingly across the hall.
I know, while he's like, in a puppy suit.
Girl, there were like 14 different red flags in the last 10 minutes that you were talking about.
I know, I felt so frustrated.
It definitely,
I was like, move on.
80s. Yeah, it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
But also like on the note of charity, that's what she does.
Yeah.
She helps homeless people and she works with volunteers, and she does this work that original Scrooge really stood against, which I think shows the way that kind of thing is translating differently nowadays.
Yeah, I felt like that too, like in the 80s especially. Like I feel like women were represented in very like, yes, they had their own work going on, but in kind of a cozy patriarchal way. So like she was allowed to kind of do this, but she had to like make sure it was okay with him. Like she's still sympathizing with him being like, well, just come. And it's just like, no, she's doing her thing, but like, so like watching it today, it's like, but like I understand that's like a big
negative comments from him for her to finally kind of talk back, and it wasn't even a lot. And that is one of like the hard parts about this movie is the way women are kind of like, the women who work are either actually volunteers or trying to like fuck him.
Yeah.
Because there was that one,
or showing half their nipples.
Yeah, like the board member who's like, it was doing great. The commercial did fantastic. As she's like massaging his shoulders, and then like her hands really like traveling a little south. Yes, it was. It was disgusting. Yeah. Fun fact: she is the mom from Goonies.
Okay.
Yes. So she's much more wholesome in the Goonies, though.
Yeah.
Okay, but you want to know like my favorite character? He's always been my favorite character in the entire movie. Elliot Loudermilk, played by Bobcat Goldthwait. He's the one who like gets fired, and then
yes, I knew that was gonna be your favorite character. I don't know why, but I was like, Melissa loves this. I know she fucking loves this.
His voice.
I know, he's just like, oh.
It's amazing. But I love that he's also kind of inadvertently getting dragged along with Frank Cross, Scrooge's Frank Cross's arc, because he goes to the shelter, and then who's sleeping in the trash outside? It's Elliot getting robbed by a homeless man who really needs also the things that he's giving.
Yeah.
And then in like the next scene, you see him, he's like walking, he's stumbling out of one of the like blood drive trucks with $20. That's it. That's all.
But I love that he gets like the big like gun rage at the end, like like moment.
Yes. He definitely gets his redemption. You can really see. I'm sorry. You can really see how wet my hair is right now in the Instagram live. Not so much on Zoom, but like definitely on this, thanks to how humid Houston is. But no, it's okay. Sorry, I had to like get back into the zone. Yes. So like he gets his redemption, but he like Bill Murray like out weirds him. He starts to get uncomfortable with him, which is also hilarious.
Yeah.
Because it's such like a crazy, like he walks into a corporate building with a shotgun. He's just like at his last, like he's at his wit's end. It's the end for him. He's like, there's nothing after this for me.
Yeah. Except
apparently getting kissed by his former boss, just out of pure happiness, which is a strange scene. It's a strange scene. But I think he realized also, because what is it? He gets into the elevator and Frank Cross like steps back and he's like, "Are you alone in there?" And like he even gets scared for a second, which was their dynamic is so funny. It's so good. Yes, I love him so much.
Yeah, he was good. He was just at the beginning when he's just like on the curb and he's like trying to smoke a cigarette and he can't light it, and then the guards come and they like pick him up by his arms, like he's like, he's not like a violent,
just to like carry him 2 more feet to make sure he's not officially on company property.
But I also like the end where when Bill Murray Frank gets like woke. And he's just like, and I guess this is what Bill Murray is like known for, right? Is kind of like the overacting aspect. And so he's just like, whoa, and he's just like freaking out all over the place. Fucking love that.
His delivery of like the final kind of monologue is actually really good too, because he balances that overacting at first when he comes out of the Ghost of Christmas future with like this sudden kind of like solemnness of that really heartwarming speech about miracles and giving, and like once you feel the miracle you want to give it out. I was tearing up a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Like it was like a heartwarming speech to hear. So you've got Elliot in the oh god, what's it called, where they're like doing the all right, pan to camera 2, follow all the way down, like that kind of stuff, direction, production stuff, or whatever. And that's our connection to Reinholder, is that his name, the like executive who is over Frank. And so as it keeps panning back to him, because he's on the phone with Elliot, you see like the sheer number of cats he also has. Which is like increasing. Like at first it just looks like it's like 2 or 3 cats, and then suddenly it's like 7 or 8 cats, and then suddenly it's like maybe 10 cats, and that was disgusting. I loved it so much because it was just so weird. And I think because like it's from Frank Cross's point of view, technically, I guess. And so at first he seems like this very put together, cool guy. Because he's got power, he's got money, he's got Like he's Cross's boss. But then you find out he's just really fucking weird, like everybody else.
Yeah.
Like the power didn't do anything. It just made him kind of errant.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I like that because like when we see Frank's childhood, we see that like a lot of the shit that he was doing was really just him trying to not have to be like his dad, but he's kind of turned into his dad.
Yeah.
Who, fun fact, was played by his older brother.
Ooh.
Yes.
Interesting.
His younger brother in the movie is also his actual brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots of bros.
Yeah. I mean, they're all in comedy and everything, so.
Mm-hmm.
Not alcohol.
Not alcohol.
Okay.
What are you drinking?
Just want to clarify. I don't drink any alcohol that's this dark. I'm much too weak. If it's this dark, it's because it's been mixed with something else.
What is it?
Just iced tea.
Oh, you're iced.
Yeah. In December, because it's Houston and we still have our air conditioning on.
I am drinking grapefruit juice with seltzer added.
Nice.
Really good. I'm really into grapefruit right now.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I go through phases of pineapple for the same reason. I think the only thing with this
I'm in lit night.
7 is that like Dickens is known for really, really putting in the word count, like really long stories.
Yeah.
And granted, like A Christmas Carol, you really only need the
it's only one night.
yeah. Which I forgot that Scrooge takes place over like actually a few days. I think about like 2 or 3 days. And so when he wakes up the next morning after his former boss / friend visited him, I was so confused. Mm-hmm. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But like this movie feels like it happens so fast. Like Herman, when we find out that Herman's died. Ooh, that was one of the big things too, is that like he hasn't really had to like deal with the consequences of his actions a lot of the time. And Herman is the first time that he like sees it. Like Herman asked him for a couple of dollars, which a lot of times to go to those kinds of shelters, you have to come in with a couple of dollars or something.
Right.
Like I think it's technically considered donation based.
Yeah.
And it's also like, if they run out of beds, what are you gonna do? But it was a direct like causation kind of thing where he wasn't able to get those dollars specifically. Like Frank could have provided it. Mm-hmm. He is loaded because he's the president of IBC.
Yeah.
And then the next time he sees him, he's dead. He's frozen, just completely frozen.
Yeah.
And I remember that really hurting me as a kid. Like, I don't think I actually, because again, I've been seeing this for years, but I think the first few times I didn't understand that Herman was dead.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because at the very end, you see him dancing with Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, they saved him. And then I think I had to be like, definitely like preteen or at least close to preteen when I was like, oh no, he's dead. That's really rough. That's like, that's dark.
Yeah.
But it's a dark story. It's a ghost story.
Yeah.
At the end of the night. But yeah, that was rough. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That was also, I mean, that's like, this is like his Dickens' shortest book.
Yeah.
And it's like you could probably read it in a day, which is really big for him because he was like paid per word. I'm not a big Dickens fan. Like I actually wrote, like I wrote a lot of my essays on his work, but I've never really, like, you can understand what he was doing without like reading 500,000 words on it, you know? And A Christmas Carol was a good one because of the Christmas spirit. And I do think that there's something very British also about like ghost stories during Christmas time. Yeah. Because there's a lot of like cheesy, like, you know, a lot of people like to watch cheesy Christmas rom-coms. Yep. I don't typically go that way, but I do like to watch cheesy British television year round. So not yeah. So I'm not like above that at all. Like I love cheesy shit. Cheese. Yeah, and I notice in a lot of those that like their Christmas specials tend to be kind of like spooky.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting.
Well, it's also, at least like in the Northern Hemisphere, the darkest time of year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially because like you're getting up to the winter solstice, you're getting up to days getting longer. And there's something kind of, I guess, comforting almost, like about embracing some of that.
Yeah.
Because the nights get longer, so your need for that kind of like that darker.
Yeah, you're telling stories around the fire because it's not yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I read this interesting. I don't even. It was really, really short. I don't want to call it an article even because it was so short. But it was talking about kind of like the different versions of Christmas Carol. I was gonna like send it to you and be like, we should read this for the live, but genuinely it was so short, like it didn't really get into any detail or anything. It just kind of like in paragraph form listed some of the stuff. Something that I didn't realize is that some people read hi mom.
Hi mom.
That's my mom. Some people read A Christmas Carol as actually like a pro-capitalistic story.
Yeah.
Which I found interesting. And I mean, we've kind of talked about this on the podcast before. Oh, she says hi. Hi. I love you. Is that like when you have literature, you've got the meanings that the author intended, and then you also have the meanings that any individual reader can get out of it. And then I found that interesting with specifically this version because it's not really anti-capitalist so much as it is like anti-commercialism.
Right.
Because there's the part where Reinholder comes in talking about how they need to start creating like TV for cats.
Yeah.
Because all of the studies now are showing how active
cats and dogs.
How like cats and dogs are watching on average 8 hours of TV a day. Which like how much are they engaging with it? I can't say. Do I catch our cats watching TV occasionally? Yes. And I do love a good like TikTok or reel where the cat is watching like baby sensory videos.
Yeah.
Which apparently is really common now. But he was saying in 20 or 30 years, they could be a prime audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like the foresight is great, I guess, but that's 20 or 30 years of investing in cats, which is just like the most absurd idea ever.
Yeah.
And then we find out that he's got like 14 cats.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense, but it's still like it's like selfish.
Yeah. It's interesting that that's a good point that it was very much about commercialism then, because capitalism was really taking hold in the 80s. Like you were getting strip malls built, everyone was getting credit cards. It was very consumerism. Mm-hmm. Commercialism had kind of always been there, but it was definitely inflating. And I do think like if they were to make a Scrooged today, it would be like a Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, it would. It'd be like Amazon.
Free the warehouse kind of situation. Like
yes. That's one of the reasons that I think like, not that this isn't true of a lot of Dickens stories, but like this one in particular really gets remade so often.
Yeah.
is because like the villain of the story is so kind of general and vague and this, like connected to various systems that maybe even Dickens wasn't entirely conscious of when he was writing. Like he knew what he was commenting on, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he knew the full like breadth of what that was.
Yeah, I think
he needed to.
I think he might have a little bit. He was really interested in the systems, actually.
No,
I just like, because I think he was really putting it on the bank in terms of this one. Yeah.
I mean, in terms like if you look kind of like in hindsight, like the commercialism is applicable because it was like in some way like already part of the story. Because it's like commercialism is so tied in with capitalism.
Yeah.
That's why he wants to create TV for cats. Because he wants to make sure that he has this whole other audience that nobody else has tapped into yet, because that's money.
Yeah.
That's why they're running this $4 million production on Christmas Day. Because
Lee Majors.
Because the money. So then naturally he has to stop it. And I guarantee you, like if we were to get kind of like the after of his tirade on at the very end of the movie, it would be like their audience shut up. Because everyone's glued to the TV, everyone's glued to this executive kind of going loony on live TV.
Yeah.
So even that doesn't really defeat the purpose that feeds into it, kind of.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Yeah, but I love this movie.
Yeah, I think they should do a remake.
Yes.
And it should be Jeff Bezos. And who? Okay, so we'll cast it. Who would be the Ghost of Christmas Past?
Ghost of Christmas Past. Oh, okay. Okay, let's say that his boss who returns isn't really his boss. Oh, Nolani's here. Hi. It's Steve Jobs.
Ooh, yes, because he's actually dead. That would be his part. Would it be like his business partner, like the Marley or character? Or?
Yeah. The Marley character, yeah. Who like comes in. I love that. This is nothing against Steve Jobs, but when we meet the Marley character, like a mouse pushes a golf ball out of his skull. Oh, disgusting.
In fact, his whole
hilarious
his whole person was just like
nasty.
When he like holds him out of the building and his like, it's like not wet, it's like dry and like flaky and like roped. Ugh.
It's like sinewy, like when he first walks in and I think Frank Cross says something along the lines of like, you've been dead for 7 years, and I'm like, oh, he looks good for 7. And then like he touches him and you're like, never mind. he definitely looks like he's been dead for 7 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Steve Jobs. Ghost of Christmas Past.
No, present.
Maybe
past. Yeah.
Past. I think would maybe be like I'm gonna say Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
If we're doing this as like a movie.
Can I choose present?
Yeah, absolutely. Choose your favorite.
Well, I feel like Keanu Reeves needs to be in there. Or
yes.
But I feel like he might be a better past than a present. Present has to be someone real jolly.
Yeah.
Not that he's not jolly.
He's serene. He's serene. I think he could be Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yeah, he could be like really terrifying.
Yeah.
Another
he
present
opens his jacket and there's like the souls of children.
Yeah. Or I was thinking like figures rather than actual actors, but I was like, Ghost of Christmas Present could be Bernie Sanders. And they like go to a rally I also love, okay, real quick, let me like plug my Scrooge in real quick. The best part of Scrooge 1970, I think, or 71 with Albert Finney, it's the musical. The best part of it is the part where the Ghost of Christmas Future takes him to his funeral, and he doesn't know it's his funeral, and everyone's gathered outside of his like shop front or whatever, and they're like singing "Thank you very much, thank you very much, that's for dying," and he thinks everyone's like
praising
him like over like he doesn't realize he's like dead, and he's like, oh, and so he thinks he's there, and he's like sitting there like saying his speech while the guy's like ripping out like his like tally of what everyone owes him like out of his little book, like the main guy, and then they like dance down the street with his like dancing on his coffin. It's like perfect. And then at the end they go to the grave and he falls down and goes to hell, like
yeah I mean, I would argue that reveal is always one of the best, no matter what the version of A Christmas Carol it is, just because like the switch, the realization that he's dead, and like in Scrooged he thinks his brother's dead, and like just Wendy, his sister-in-law, is there, and then he realizes he's dead and nobody showed up. He's just getting his body, like they're cremating him, that's it. They did a version of that. Okay, so they did a version of that in that 70s show, where something happens to Red, and he has like a dream about his funeral, and nobody shows up, and so he starts being nicer.
Right.
And so later he's like, I don't actually want any of these assholes at my funeral.
Yeah.
And so I think for better or worse, depending on who the character is, like that confrontation of what do I want to be remembered for in death is the pivotal moment for his actual change, because everything else is he's
other
just
people, really.
Yes, yeah.
And it really does need to be about you.
When he sees that Herman's died, he's sad, but it doesn't really affect him. He's like, I can forget this. I've forgotten a lot of other things. I can forget this. But then seeing that Karen Allen, again, I can't remember. I just remember she calls him Lumpy.
Yeah.
She doesn't go to the funeral.
Right.
Or the cremation. Grace isn't there. Grace's son is in a mental institution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, none of their friends showed up. So like his brother is at a Christmas party with a few friends. None of them show up to like that's the realization, is like he knows all of these people and none of them actually care about him.
I really loved to, actually, in the modern sense of like his brother in this case, not his nephew, is his like girlfriend or wife is like, why do you always invite him? And he's like, because he's my brother. And it's like, that's like seeing it in that like modern day context was like very different.
Yes. Yeah.
Like having kind of the space from like, you know, whatever 200 years ago is kind of different. Like you kind of are like, oh yeah, like that's what you do. You like invite people over, but it's like nowadays it's like a little different. Like everyone kind of has like really interesting family dynamics. It's not for like, you're not doing it for like etiquette or show or like
not
custom.
Out of obligation.
Yeah. And so like there's this interesting idea of like, oh, I always invite him because he's my brother. Like, and I think that that's kind of like, that kind of hit differently, I think, than it does in other adaptations.
Well, you can also really see that, like that gap between the original and the modern with just the way that he brushes his brother off. He has like no loyalty.
Yeah.
What's the line that he gives to Karen Allen? Where he's like, the only person you have to worry about saving is yourself. Just save yourself.
Yeah.
That is his mantra. That is his, speaking of like breaking the mantra, like the big character thing. And And so that's what he needs to do, is like, how do the ghosts go about breaking that mantra? And it's showing him these moments where people, without him even being there, are actually still loyal to him.
Yes.
That is really sweet and heartwarming. But it's a sweet and heartwarming movie. It's mixed in with some gore occasionally, not gore, but like I guess body horror. Occasional body horror. Yeah. Random eyeballs and glasses. Like drinking glasses.
And ball busting.
Glasses.
Yep. How long do we have? When is it going to kick us off?
It'll kick us off at like the hour mark.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was the 45, so I was like getting kind of worried about
that. I don't think it's 45. We'll find out. Melissa and Bethany
trying things out,
doing it as we go along. Yep. Flying by the seat of our pants. Yeah, I think that's most of what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, it's your movie. I enjoyed it. Bill Murray is not someone I watch a lot of. But he kind of grows on you. He's kind of an acquired taste, which I think the best actors are, like, you know, I mean, I've seen him in like Wes Anderson films and stuff, but it's a Wes Anderson film, so you know it's going to be like a little different. But yeah, like I was getting it. I was like, oh, he's supposed to be an asshole. Like,
yeah,
obviously.
He always plays the asshole though. He's like very good at playing the asshole who by the end you actually kind of appreciate. Yeah. Hi, Stephen Coleman.
Steve.
But I think like my introduction to him has always been kind of like in these older movies, like Ghostbusters. Oh, right. That is a classic. And he's probably my favorite in there because he doesn't actually do anything other than be an asshole. Yeah. Because you've got like the driver, you've got the science guy, you've got Dan Aykroyd, who's kind of like, I mean, they're all kind of scientists. Yeah. But Bill Murray is the one who's like the least sciencey. Yeah. He's more asshole than science, and I kind of love it. Yeah. Just how I am. Yeah. I do kind of put him up there though with like some of the greats, like Chevy Chase, Steve Martin. In my brain, like that's where he is. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, that's Scrooged.
Yeah, that's
what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
So, well, I was gonna say we should let everybody know that this is technically going to be the last Film Friday for a while.
Yeah, because we have other cool projects happening in 2022 that we want to kind of spend our time on that instead, which is going to be the book club. So if you have read A Court of Thorns and Roses, if you would want to read A Court of Thorns and Roses, if you don't want to read but you just want to hear about it, you can like come in and
join our discussions.
Yeah, it's just super easy. You just hop on Discord, no strings, doesn't cost anything. It'll be super fun.
Yeah, we're not making anyone pay to join the book club. If you go to the link in our bio on Instagram, then you can see like a sign up link. We're gonna like have an email go out a little bit before, then we can send you the link to the Discord when we have it all set up, and then you'll get access to like the reading schedule. We're gonna spend most of 2022 reading it. It's going to be like a really, really slow, not just the first, like the full series. It's going to be a really slow work through. Yeah. Because we don't want anyone to be stressed. Yeah. About reading through it.
Because we have a reading schedule for the podcast. That we're like, we want to add to that. Like, and so we wanted to kind of be nice to ourselves and also just like, you know, kind of gather like people along the way. Like, oh, like maybe you read it like a couple years ago and you just want to kind of hop in and share your thoughts. So yeah.
And you can join, you don't have to like join from the beginning. You can join at any point. If you only want to join us for one book, that's fine. Yeah. We won't be butthurt. Yeah. I'll be a little sad, but it's okay.
Yeah. Because
I think our plan right now is to meet up or like to have like meetings once a month for it. But because we'll have the Discord, obviously it's just joining a group talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses. So
yeah. And so once we kind of get whoever's like joined, we'll kind of decide on like a good day, good time that works for everyone. So I hope you guys join us, because it'll be super fun to like have more than just us talking about books.
It'll be exciting to talk to other people about it too, because this is like a big series and I've never read it before.
Yeah. And I keep talking about it and I'm gonna spill I've probably already spilled so much, and I'm like, I can't live like this, Melissa.
I'm sorry.
We need to be on the same page, especially when it comes to YA fantasy. I feel like we gotta. So I'm excited. So I'm kind of excited because it's like I've already read it. You haven't read it, so we have like
got both sides of the coin.
Yeah, we got both sides of the coin, so it'll be kind of fun. And I'm gonna reread it, so I'll like pick up things that I didn't. So yeah. So come join us for Book Club 2022.
Check out the link in our bio.
Yes. All right. Okay. That's a wrap. I hope you guys have a really happy holiday. We are Christmas, Hanukkah. You're like, what are we doing?
Oh, I know. I was like,
whatever you celebrate,
whatever holidays you celebrate, whether you've started celebrating Hanukkah or you're getting ready for Christmas. I know Bethany's celebrating Christmas tomorrow.
Yep, with
her family. Yes. Or any of the other holidays that I've forgotten because I got myself into the situation.
Yeah.
Cool. Yule, Saturnalia, Kwanzaa.
Yeah. Yep.
Merry, happy all of them.
Merry, happy all of them. All right. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. See you guys. Happy reading.
Happy reading. Bye.
Bye.